Over the last 3 years, the Raiders have followed this exact same pattern. An awful season occurs, sparking widespread fan nostalgia for two men in particular, Jon Gruden and Derek Carr. But this time, it's different. Local beat reporters are suggesting that a reunion could become real in 2026, and the head coach and quarterback have both expressed a desire to return if given the right opportunity. Let's start with quarterback Derek Carr. Even though he retired from the Saints after suffering a significant shoulder injury, he still expressed interest in returning just this past September.
There's no scenario where you'd come back.
I wouldn't say no, never, because I've learned that when I say never, it usually happens. I'm training because I love to train. Like, that's going to be the rest of my life. I love to train. Even though I'm done, like, if God wanted me to do it, I got to be ready. I don't want to go out there and not be ready.
So Carr lets it be known that he's still training if God ever wanted him to come back and play, which clearly means he's leaving it on the table. And we know for a fact that before the Bengals traded for Joe Flacco due to the Joe Burrow injury, they inquired about Derek Carr, who did turn them down. And recently we've had the hilarious news where the 44-year-old Phillip Rivers is coming back with the Indianapolis Colts. Well, Derek Carr's brother David lets it slip here that the Colts texted Carr before signing Rivers.
Colts call you yet? My phone has not rang.
You're lying. They texted. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, they texted.
Then just a few months ago, Derek Carr and Jon Gruden both joked about a potential reunion, while David let it be known that Carr could still play.
All right, so I'm on this guy. It was we talked about before we even turned these cameras on. He could still play. Like, don't let him trick anybody out there. Like, he's ready. So he said he would have to be healthy, and it would have to be an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. And I know that's why we all play this game, is to win a Super Bowl. So I'm gonna ask you, Coach, what would it take? What would it take to get you back in to the saddle?
Well, just take an opportunity. I mean, I'm here working. If you saw what I do here every day, I'm preparing myself to do it. If I do get that opportunity, I will be out there in Fresno looking for you, Derek.
I've been working, man.
Trust me, I've seen.
So you have both of these guys saying recently that they both prepare every day because you just never know what kind of opportunity arises. And it's insane to realize that next year in 2026, it'll be half a decade since Jon Gruden and Derek Carr played together on the sideline. And people forget how good they were before that 2021 email leak occurred. The Raiders were 3-1 and first place in the AFC West. And actually, a little fun fact, they were the first team in NFL history to go 3-0 at the start of a season against teams that had 10+ wins the previous year, the Ravens, Steelers, and Dolphins. And around that time, the NFL media machine was all over their nuts.
They got 500 yards against Miami's defense. He beat Lamar Jackson in a shootout. And, say what you want about Pittsburgh. That defense, pretty good. Derek Carr, before it got all injured up, ate it apart. But how lucky that the Raiders are a mess forever, and they finally land in Vegas. And the first year you can get people into the stadium, they're one of the best watches in the league.
And as we sit here in 2025, Raiders fans have become so accustomed to seeing opposing fans in their stadium at Allegiant Stadium. But around this time, it was different. Las Vegas still had optimism, fans in the stands, and real home field advantage. And unlike today, the offense was not the problem with the Raiders. All eyes are on how that defense could be better.
The problem is, and it's been this way for a long time, the defense. Defense has been horrible.
And while Gruden was on Derek Carr's podcast, the Homegrown Podcast, they both expressed nostalgia for that 2021 season.
It's just a shame that we can't still be out there working because we were off to a pretty good start that last year.
Yes, we were.
I know. I get all teared up even thinking about that. That was a great time. That team went to the playoffs. I know we lost to Cincinnati in the wild card game, but you just sometimes wonder what could have happened had we, been able to keep that band together. But
while Derek Carr seems to be looking for the perfect and right opportunity, given the fact that he's rejected the Colts opportunity, rejected the Bengals opportunity, he seems a little more picky, and it's an open question as to whether or not he would unretire. But Jon Gruden, on the other hand, clearly wants to get back in the NFL after being ousted in 2021, and he recently had a big victory in court where the Nevada Supreme Court ruled in Jon Gruden's favor regarding his appeal against the NFL. This means as of right now, Jon Gruden will get discovery, will get his day in court against Roger Goodell in the NFL for the improperly leaked emails, but the NFL has their last chance to appeal appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, but a lot of legal experts think it's unlikely that the U.S. Supreme Court will take this case. Recently, in an interview, Max Crosby talked about Jon Gruden's cancellation and also hinted that Gruden could return to the NFL.
So it was tough to see a guy like that who's such a good dude and such a loyal, like, ride or die person. Like, they went after him. They went after him. And he knew it. He said it there, like, and he's like, I'll be back. To this day, he's like that. I'll be back.
After having a 4-win season under Antonio Pierce, the Raiders somehow got worse under the leadership of Pete Carroll and, more importantly, Tom Brady. Remember, Tom Brady is running this Raiders football team. It is a fact. It is known. Mark Davis has said it. Reports have come out saying that Brady is involved every day with the Raiders due to his trainer and good friend Alex Guerrero being in the building and keeping his eyes and ears open, channeling information to Tom Brady. Last year, Mark Davis said that Brady would have a say in the Raiders' next starting quarterback. Well, that next starting quarterback ended up being Geno Smith, but it's very clear that whatever direction the Raiders go in, Brady is going to have control of that steering wheel. So if Gruden and Carr are searching for that perfect opportunity, the fans, Raider Nation, would love to see these two return in the silver and black, since it's been nothing but a complete disaster without them over the past 25 years. Then why would it not happen? It wouldn't happen for one reason only, and that's Tom Brady, because he is the one running this team, and Mark Davis made it clear this year that's what's going down.
I had gone after John for 6 years, Gruden, and felt he would be the person that could maybe carry the torch forward. And unfortunately, that was cut short through some unfortunate circumstances. And I feel Tom is the one now to take this organization into the future on the football side and maybe get my failures into successes.
Tom Brady acquiring the Raiders has been in works for many years, ever since Jon Gruden and Mike Mayock rejected Brady's offer to come and join the Raiders in 2020. And so there are rumors out there that Brady was the one who suggested that the Raiders hire Josh McDaniels. And now over the past 2 seasons, Brady has been more actively and openly involved in this football team, and it's been a complete failure. So far, Brady has been a bad owner and bad operator of football operations for the Raiders, and he's made a lot of bad hires. But to be fair, it's only been a couple years. However, Mark Davis, whenever he talks about Jon Gruden being ousted from the Raiders, he seems upset that the NFL forced his hand. And he even made a quick jab about this right after Pete Carroll was announced as the Raiders head coach.
Back in, I guess it was 18, with Jon Gruden. He was somebody that I brought in and really expected to be that person on the football side that would bring stability to the organization. He had a 10-year contract and all that, and his head was chopped off. And we were put in a really bad position as an organization.
So when it comes to head coach, could somebody like Tom Brady and Jon Gruden work together? Would it be too many cooks in the kitchen? I think so. And when it comes to quarterback, remember, Tom Brady was the one who took some shots at Derek Carr, calling him that mother effer. Mark Davis and Brady and Carr pretty much have all acknowledged that right here.
He was close to wanting to come here, but the head coach and general manager decided they wanted to go in a different direction.
One of the teams, they were interested, and all of a sudden they weren't interested at the very end. I was sitting there thinking, you're sticking with that mother. Are you serious?
So now we have Dana White and Mark Davis all talking about how Brady was supposed to join, but then Jon Gruden decided to stick with Derek Carr. And now you have Carr asked about being called that mother effer, and what he says right here is quite interesting.
About the Brady coming through Las Vegas to want to play for the Raiders and singling you out of, you're going to stay with this guy? Did you have fun with that?
Oh, I did. And I'll be completely honest, Dan, I had about 100 different funny things to say. I couldn't help myself. But I just felt like when I woke up this morning, like it just hit me like with everything that happened yesterday, not to get weird.
When he says everything that happened yesterday, the day before this interview was the Charlie Kirk assassination. So it was a very emotional time.
Felt like when I woke up this morning, like it just hit me like with everything that happened yesterday, not to get weird. I was like, man, it's not even worth saying any of them, man. I just want to love them. You know, I could make a zinger and be funny about it, but like, you know, I just, with everything that happened yesterday, it's just on my heart just to love everybody, no matter what, you know, and I have none but love for Tom. He knows that, you know, we've talked, you know, many times. So
it's noteworthy that Carr says that him and Brady have talked since then. If Brady truly is deciding who's the next head coach, who's the next quarterback, I think the vast majority of Raiders fans right here, right now, hope that he chooses Derek Carr and Jon Gruden.